You've been trained to look at one tiny printed date and treat it like a courtroom verdict. Guilty food, innocent food, throw it out, or risk instant disaster. And the funniest part is, most of those dates are not actually telling you what you think they're telling you. Because best before and use by are not the same thing, not even close. One is mostly about quality, the other is about safety. And the reason people stay confused is the system benefits from confusion. Confused shoppers waste more food, buy more replacements, and don't ask annoying questions about why perfectly fine groceries end up in the bin. So let's clean this up properly, in plain language, without the emotional support fluff. A best before date is basically the manufacturer saying, "This is when we think it tastes best." After that date, the food can still be safe, but it might slowly lose the things you like: texture, crunch, flavor, color. It's a quality promise, not a safety alarm. A use-by date is the one you treat like the serious one. That's the line where the food is expected to still be safe if it has been stored correctly. Past that point, the risk goes up fast, especially for refrigerated, high-protein foods. Meat, fish, ready-to-eat meals, fresh dairy, deli items. This date is less about taste and more about don't gamble. Now, here's where people mess it up. They see best before, they panic, and they throw out food that would be fine for days, weeks, sometimes months longer, depending on what it is and how it was stored. And then they keep the food that actually should scare them, like leftovers sitting in the fridge for 5 days just because the original package date hasn't passed. That's the expiration date trap. You're focusing on the printed date instead of the real clock. Because the real clock starts the second you open it, cook it, portion it, or leave it warm on the counter. The printed date doesn't track your behavior. It tracks the factory's guess under ideal storage, sealed packaging, and correct temperatures. Your fridge full of door-opening chaos was not part of their fantasy. So here's the real way to think about it. Dates are a guide. Storage is the deal. And time plus temperature is the judge. Let's break down what those dates usually mean in real life. Best before shows up on shelf-stable stuff: cereal, pasta, rice, chips, biscuits, sauces, canned foods, UHT products, spices. Most of these don't suddenly become dangerous at midnight on the date. They just get worse slowly. Stale, less aromatic, softer. Sometimes they lose potency, like spices that stop tasting like anything except dust and regret. If you open a bag of chips before the best before date and it still tastes like cardboard, congratulations, it was fresh according to the label and still sad. Because best before is not a guarantee of your happiness, it's a marker of peak quality, and it's conservative because nobody wants lawsuits and bad reviews. Now, use by is different. You'll see it on foods that can grow harmful bacteria when they're stored too long, even if they look and smell fine. That's the scary part. Smell is not a safety test for some pathogens. You can't sniff your way out of certain risks. The food can smell normal and still be a bad decision. So yes, use-by dates matter most for fresh, refrigerated, high-moisture foods and ready-to-eat items. Especially if you're not going to cook the life out of them. Deli meats, salads, soft cheeses, cooked meat portions, pre-made meals. These are the foods where "it seems fine" is not a strong argument. Now let's talk about the third date that ruins lives: sell-by. Sell-by is mainly for the store. It's inventory management. It tells staff when to rotate stock. It's not a direct safety date for you. People see sell-by, they assume die-by and throw it out. That's free money for the grocery industry. And then you've got best if used by, which is basically best before wearing a different outfit. Still, mostly quality. So the first big takeaway is this: not all dates are warning labels, and the label doesn't know what you did at home. Now we get practical, because you don't want a lecture. You want a system. Here's your simple decision tree. If it's used by and it's a refrigerated, high-risk food, respect it. If you're past it, don't try to outsmart it with optimism. If you're going to cook it thoroughly, you might reduce risk, but you're still gambling if storage was imperfect. If you have any doubt, don't taste test it. Nobody wins that game. If it's best before, your question is not, is it expired? It's, is it still good? That's a quality check, not a safety panic. If it's shelf-stable and unopened, and it's past best before, most of the time it's still safe if it's been stored in a cool, dry place and the packaging is intact. The quality may drop, but it's usually not dangerous. But there are exceptions, because life loves exceptions. Now let's go category by category, because this is where you actually stop wasting food and stop risking the wrong things. Start with pantry dry goods: rice, pasta, flour, cereal, crackers. Past best before, they mostly go stale. The real risk here is moisture and pests, not time. If the bag looks fine, smells normal, no weird clumps, no bugs, no webby nonsense, you're usually okay. If flour smells rancid or paint-like, that's the oils going off, especially in whole grain flours. Toss it. Not because the date told you, but because your nose and common sense did. Spices are the biggest scam. They don't expire in a dangerous way, they just become useless. If your paprika smells like nothing, it's not expired, it's dead. Same with dried herbs. You're basically seasoning with green confetti. Now, canned foods. Most canned goods have best before style dating, and they last a long time if the can is intact. The real red flags are physical: bulging cans, leaking seams, severe dents on seams, hissing when opened, weird spurting, or a smell that makes you instantly regret your decisions. If a can looks compromised, you don't negotiate. If it's just past best before and the can is perfect, it's usually fine quality-wise. Taste and texture might be slightly off, but it's not automatically unsafe. Now, sauces and condiments. Soy sauce, fish sauce, vinegar-based stuff, many hot sauces. These are often so salty or acidic that they're naturally hostile to bacteria. Past best before, the main issue is flavor changes. The bigger issue is how you use them. Double dipping a dirty spoon turns your condiment into a science experiment. The date didn't do that. You did. For things like mayonnaise and creamy dressings, you respect refrigeration and you respect time. After opening. If it's been sitting warm or left open, the date won't save you. If it smells off, looks separated in a weird way, or tastes strange, stop forcing it. Now, dairy. Because dairy is where people get brave for no reason. Milk usually has a date that's more meaningful than your cereal does, but it's still not a magic switch. The real indicator is smell and taste. Sour smell, thickening, or that sharp tang, it's done. But if it's slightly past the date and it smells fine and tastes fine, it's usually okay. The real killer is temperature abuse. If your milk has been repeatedly left out, warmed up, put back, warmed up, put back, you created a bacteria gym. Yogurt is often okay past best before if unopened and stored cold. It's already fermented. It can get more sour over time and the texture can separate. But if it's moldy, fizzy, or smells wrong, it's over. Trust the product, not the calendar. Hard cheeses last longer. Soft cheeses are riskier. Pre-shredded cheese grows mold faster because it has more surface area and often additives. If you see mold on hard cheese, you can usually cut it off generously. If you see mold on soft cheese, spreadable cheese, or shredded cheese, toss it. Mold threads can travel through soft products. Don't play surgeon. Now meat and fish, the main character of use by. Raw chicken, beef, pork, fish. If it's past use by, you need to be strict. And here's the part people hate. Smell alone is not enough. Some bad bacteria don't smell. The texture change can be a clue. Slimy surfaces, sticky tackiness, weird sheen, or an odor that feels sweet, sulfuric, or just wrong. If you're hesitating, that's your answer. Also, freezing changes the game. If you freeze meat before the use-by date, you basically pause the clock. Not forever, but you slow it down dramatically. Then the real risk becomes thawing incorrectly. Thawing on the counter is the classic mistake. You're warming the outer. Layer into the danger zone while the center is still frozen. Thaw in the fridge, or use cold water in a sealed bag and cook right away, or microwave and cook immediately. Now, leftovers. The most underestimated danger zone in normal households. Leftovers do not care about the original package date. Once cooked, you're on a different timeline. Most cooked leftovers are safest within a few days if refrigerated properly. The biggest risk is not it's past the date. The risk is you left it out too long, cooled it slowly, stored it warm, or kept reheating and recooling it like a hobby. The safest move is cool food quickly, store it in shallow containers, refrigerate promptly, and reheat thoroughly. If your leftovers have been sitting in the fridge long enough that you can't remember when you made them, that's your sign. Mystery leftovers are not a meal plan. They're a dare. Now, eggs. Because eggs are where everyone becomes a lawyer. Egg dates depend a lot on the country and how eggs are handled, but here's the simple home rule. If the eggs are clean, stored cold, and you're within a reasonable time, they're often fine. You can use the float test as a freshness check, not a safety guarantee. Fresh eggs sink and lay flat. Older eggs stand upright or float because the air cell grows over time. Floating doesn't automatically mean poison. It often means old. And old eggs should be used with caution and cooked thoroughly, not eaten runny. And if an egg smells bad when cracked, it's done. No debate. Now, baby food and formula. This is where you do not improvise. If there's a use-by or expiration date on infant formula, respect it. No, probably fine. No, we'll see. That's the strict lane. Now let's address the biggest myth that keeps people unsafe. If it smells fine, it's safe. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Smell and sight catch spoilage. They don't always catch pathogens. Spoiled food is often obvious. Dangerous bacteria are not always obvious. That's why use-by exists. It's a risk control tool. So if you want to stop wasting food while staying safe, you need to understand which foods are forgiving and which are not. Forgiving foods. Dry pantry items, many unopened shelf-stable foods, many condiments, hard cheeses, many fermented foods, properly stored frozen items. Not forgiving foods. Raw meat and fish, ready-to-eat refrigerated foods, deli meats, soft cheeses, pre-made salads, leftovers handled poorly, anything that sat in the danger zone too long. Now, the danger zone concept matters because it's the quiet killer behind most, but it was still in date stories. Warm temperatures allow bacteria to multiply faster. If food sits warm too long, it can become risky even if the label date hasn't passed. The date is not a shield. temperature control is the shield. Here's a simple way to think about it. If something needed refrigeration to begin with, treat it with more seriousness. If it's shelf-stable, treat it like quality over time. Now, because your life is real and you're busy, here are quick checks you can actually do at home. Check 1. Packaging integrity. Swollen packs, leaking seals, broken vacuum packs, puffed lids, or cans bulging. That's not maybe, that's no. Check 2. Look for active spoilage signs. Mold, slime, unusual bubbling, or separation that doesn't make sense for that product. Check 3. Smell after opening. Not does it smell like food, but does it smell wrong? Sharp sour when it shouldn't be. Chemical, rotten, sulfur, or just offensive. Check 4. Texture. Slimy meat, tacky film on deli slices, weird gel on leftovers, gritty dairy. Your mouth notices things your brain tries to excuse because you paid money for it. Check 5. Your own memory. If you can't remember when you opened it, cooked it, or stored it, stop negotiating. Guessing is how you lose. Now, let's talk about the part nobody wants to admit. Expiration labels are also a marketing tool. If you confuse best before with use by, you throw out perfectly edible food. That boosts repeat buying. If you rely on the date and ignore how you stored it, you might get sick and blame bad luck instead of the real cause, time and temperature. So what's the smart move? You treat best before like a quality guide. You treat use by like a safety boundary. And you stop pretending the label knows what happened in your kitchen. If you want to reduce waste without taking stupid risks, do this. For pantry foods, focus on storage. Keep them dry, sealed, and away from heat. Most expired pantry food is just stale, not dangerous. For refrigerated foods, focus on time after opening and how cold your fridge actually is. A fridge that's too warm turns in date into bad idea. For cooked foods, focus on handling. Cool fast, store smart, eat within a sensible window, reheat properly. For high-risk foods, stop trying to be tough. Nobody gives you a trophy for eating questionable chicken. Now, let's land this with a straight summary, because you now know what most people don't. Best before is about quality, not safety. Past it, the food might be less fresh, but often still edible if stored correctly. Use by is about safety, especially for perishable foods. Past it, risk rises, and you should not treat it like a suggestion. And the real expiration system is time plus temperature plus handling. The printed date is just one small part of the story. So, next time you're staring at a tub of yogurt or a bag of rice and thinking, do we throw it out? Don't let one tiny date bully you. Use the category rules, do the quick checks, and make the call based on reality, not fear. If this cleared things up, like the video, subscribe, share it with the friend who throws out perfectly good pasta because it's expired, and comment what food category you want broken down next.